Welcome to Psychology Today. I'm your host, Wayne Hathaway. Thank you for watching. Our show is about bicycle safety and bicycling in general. I hope Psychology Today inspires you to ride a bike, helps you to be more mindful of safety. We try to celebrate those in our community that incorporate bicycling into career choices or entrepreneurial endeavors, strive to encourage others to ride or support cycling and bike safety. Our producer, Northwest Bicycle Safety Council, is an organization that promotes safety and harmony between cyclists and works to strengthen our community and your families through cycling-related programs and events. 2018 found our volunteers placing free helmets on hundreds of local heads at various cycling-related events. Learn more at our website. And a quick thank you to our capable crew behind the scenes, volunteers who make our show possible. And today we have Erik Voldengen to share his story and how biking has impacted his personal experiences. We promote cycling and bicycle safety. Let's face it, riding a bike is part of culture, of just loving all things bicycles. So let's get started.
Right.
Hi, Erik.
Hey, Wayne.
How are you?
Great.
It's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I have lived in Oregon since I think I was about 13. Most of that time I've been riding a bike in some capacity. So biking's been a big thing for me all my life. Let's see, I live in Southeast Portland right now. 2 kids, 2 daughters. My awesome partner, Arnica, who you've met.
Yes.
She's great. I'm a consultant and do like web development and stuff. And that gives me a little flexibility to be able to ride my bike. So it's pretty good.
Cool. Tell us a little bit about, so I'm going to like back up now and like get off of this as much as I can.
Okay.
You're like the cornerstone of one of my passion for biking. I put that in the script.
I didn't know that. So, that was really nice though to read.
Well, it's
I'm
just
touched.
the truth. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, so tell the people that are listening a little bit about, how biking even became part of your life at the very beginning.
Okay. At the very beginning, well, like I said, I can't really remember a time I wasn't riding bikes. I started out like, just messing around on my bike, and then I somehow fell into BMX racing, and then I got my first road bike when I was probably 14 or 15, and then I just started riding. I lived in Aloha at the time. I would like ride to Bald Peak and back like all the time. I did that during high school. And I kept that same road bike through college, and that was my first racing bike. But I had a little break during college. I was on the crew team rowing, and that was an intense sport. And but I kept riding. I would mountain bike there in Corvallis. So from there, after college, I couldn't row anymore. At the same level, you can't find another 8 people to always meet with you at a certain time at that level. So bike racing was just perfect to fall into. It was just me that needed to ride, and I've been bike racing off and on since then. So for like 20 years or more. Not hardcore, but been into it.
And when you first started out, how did you approach knowing what equipment you should have?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't really think you need great equipment. I told you, like I raced that bike that I got when I was 15, like 10 years later, and that bike was trashed. I had a head-on collision with a car in college, so like the fork was all bent back. I got a $30 fork from Bike and Ike or something, and put it on there, and I had friction shifting and maybe 10 speeds. It doesn't, and I raced my first races in toe clips and running shoes.
Oh, right.
It didn't really matter. I think the important thing is just, you're on skinny tires and you're riding and you're competing. And if you were to drop like, $5,000 on a road bike just before you even got going and knew what you liked, it'd be kind of premature, because you don't really know what you like yet. You don't really know like the difference between that old busted up 10 speed and this new carbon 22 speed,
Yeah.
It doesn't really, the important thing is you just ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How about, did you have, before you started riding, did you have any fears about it, or did you develop any fears when you first started?
Yeah. Riding, not so much. It was always like, I can't remember not doing it, and I've always been comfortable on the bike. But in terms of like racing, that's definitely a whole new level of, coming to grips with riding in packs and the speed, and it's kind of dangerous. So I was definitely a little intimidated about that. But I started with the Beaverton Bicycle Club, and Coach Phil Sanders is actually still doing it. I think you met Phil, didn't you?
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, maybe at PIR or something. But
Possibly.
yeah. Anyway, I told him, I was a little nervous, and he said just come out and race. So that's all you do. You just show up and you do it, and it's not so bad. I don't know if it was just me, but I think a lot of people just get nervous about it, about competing, or maybe how they're going to look or how they're going to do or perform against other people. But really, you just need to show up and do it.
Yeah.
And you'll do fine.
That's good. That's good for people to hear about.
Yeah.
How about when you started out?
Yeah.
You can only sustain so much effort. How did you build a base? Was it just going out?
Yeah, I found a team to ride on, and we just had team rides. And starting out, I would just suggest you just find a group. It doesn't have to be a team, but there's a lot of really good group rides around Portland that you can get. You just start out and you ride at your level, and you just try to keep up with the faster people, right? And then pretty soon, maybe eventually, you're one of the faster people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. How about, let's hear about one of the things that I've struggled with, and I've already told you this, is
motivation.
Motivation. How do you stay out there?
Yeah. I have a good trick. I like racing, but I'm not like the diehard gung-ho super intense racer. So I not every year has gone by where I haven't raced, but I really like the seasons. The seasons are key. So like right now it's winter, and that's slow grinding. You get out there in the winter, and it's basically like a rite of passage. You sit out there and you just kind of like suffer, but at least you're not racing. You're out there and you're building your base, and you're grinding through the winter, and it kind of sucks sometimes, but you do it. And in a way, it's peaceful. It's like, it's calm. It's like you're regrouping, and you have like the whole season ahead of you. So, even if you're not racing, you have the whole spring, summer, and fall ahead of you, like good weather, good riding weather. So if you get out there and ride, or you work out in the winter, then you'll be able to enjoy it more when the weather's nice, because you'll be able to go faster and longer. So I like the winter training, just slog through it. Then the weather gets nice in spring, and you get all excited, and then you start to ramp up the intensity, and that just leads straight into summer racing. And then summer, you just go hard all the time, and then I'd say about August, start to get kind of wary of that. But that's when fall's right around the corner, my favorite season, and then that lends itself to cyclocross. Cyclocross starts, it's a fall sport, and things really start to ramp up now in August. So by September, you're racing cyclocross, doing cyclocross, which is, like off-road, on-road, kind of a hybrid mountain bike, road bike racing thing. So I do that until like Thanksgiving or so, and by then I'm pretty much spent. I'm done with the intensity, and I'm looking forward to just relaxing and getting back to that winter slog. Like, I don't care if it's rainy or cold, I just want to get out there and it's like peaceful, tranquil.
Now, would you say when you're, well, so you talked about having flexibility to have the time to do the training.
Yeah.
When you're out there, does it vary on going on group rides as well as doing some of your own riding?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll try to hit 2-3 group rides a week if I can. So that could be with some friends, or it could be with some regular group rides around town. Like there's a lawyer ride, the lawyer ride they call it. You want me to talk about it?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I know we've done it together. So they meet at downtown on Monday and Thursday they leave at 12:15 from Pioneer Square. And then Monday they go, it's kind of a faster day around Fairmount Loop. And then Thursdays we go up in the hills, like Thompson. So I try to do those rides, and when I can't, I've got a group of friends that work downtown, and we'll email each other. We have a special exclusive email list, and we email each other and say, hey, who's up for a ride? And if we can do it, we'll meet at like 11:45. You know, we can do it in short notice. Whoever can make it, makes it and goes and rides. And then I'm on a racing team, and we usually try to have a team ride like on the weekend. So
let's talk a little bit about people that are watching. You know, if you're really going to do what Erik says, and go out and ride and do the slog during the winter season, what kind of equipment to approach that, both safety as well as just weather related?
Yeah, I think one thing is you don't really need like a lot of heavy duty rain gear or anything. I like to wear my summer clothes, but just more of them. So if it's really nasty out, maybe 2 pairs of shorts, but normally I'll just wear the same shorts I wear in the summer, and then leg warmers, which are like giant knee-high Lycra socks. Basically, they go from your ankles all the way up to your thighs, and they tuck under your shorts. So that keeps your legs warm. And then on top of that, you can wear the same shoes you wear in the summer. You just get like neoprene booties and stick them over your shoes. And then for the top, you can wear the same jersey, just put some long sleeve under it. And then probably the one thing you'll need is a rain jacket. Nothing too heavy. Like, I prefer a lighter jacket that kind of resists water, and then I adjust my layers underneath depending on how nasty it is outside.
How about on the roads, are they slicker when you're out there riding when it's wet?
That's true, yeah. I have a race bike and I have a rain bike. And sometimes the way it works, after you've been doing it a really long time, your race bike, like your baby, becomes demoted to rain bike when you get another race bike. But yeah, the rain bike, it doesn't really matter. The rain bike, it's going to get dirty, it's going to get messed up, so you shouldn't make it as nice. You shouldn't care as much about it. Fenders are really nice to put on it, and then I always ride with fatter tires. So I'm a roadie, so 700 by 28C tires are what I rock out there in the winter. Other than anything lower, I mean, I'm kind of a big person, so I get too many flats if I ride skinny tires in the winter.
How about traffic in general? What do you recommend people that are watching just to be aware of? And
is in winter or just overall?
Winter, but overall too.
Yeah. Well, just follow the rules of the road. Like, obviously I wouldn't blow through stop signs. I wouldn't blow through traffic signs. Maybe if you're in the middle of nowhere and no one's around, just, sometimes I'll blow through them, especially if I'm going really fast.
Oh, don't do that.
No. But I mean, if you're downtown, if you're in traffic, you need to just ride predictably. You need to just ride in a straight line. Don't weave all over the place. If cars are going to pass you, that's fine. I think people get nervous about riding in traffic, but you don't need to really get nervous. Just hold your line, and you can ride out in the road. You can ride a ways off the gravel in the shoulder of the road. Just ride where it's safe and reasonable, and just keep a straight, predictable line so that cars can pass you and not, freak out.
Yeah. And how about those that might just be considering going on to these group rides that haven't had the experience of being in a pack of riders?
Yeah.
What would you suggest?
Yeah, you got to find a group or a person or a group of friends. It would really help to find a nice group that just kind of takes you under their wing and points out things that you should be doing or whatever. But basically, rules of like riding in a pack. There's some really simple rules, like don't overlap wheels, right? If someone swerves over, they'll take you out. So you stay behind them and don't overlap them. Don't jam on your brakes in a group ride. Just try to keep everything smooth, smooth and predictable, just like like I said about riding in traffic. You want to be even more smooth and predictable riding in a group. But yeah, there's a lot of groups. Portland Velo has a good ride. I think it's a club. So you go at their site and you can like sign up, and they have rides like separated by your speed and capability, and I think they have a leader for each one. I think that would be a good start for a beginner. But I mean, really, just like I said before, just get out and do it. If you really like it, you're gonna like go on YouTube and watch videos and read. I don't know if anyone reads magazines anymore, but that's what I did. I read every magazine I could, and once you get into it, you develop a passion for it, and you'll figure it out. Just get out there is the important thing.
Right on. What's your take on just the Portland metro area and the bike culture here? Yeah. What's your take on it?
The bike culture, we're pretty bike centric around here. Bikes are everywhere, and it's cool. There's not. I mean, I'm part of one culture, like kind of the roadie racer community primarily, but I mean, there's so many like groups of people, and the common denominator is everyone's out there riding bikes. It's awesome.
Right on. So we're going to do a break here in a minute, and when we come back, I want to talk more about the cyclocross, some of the stage racing experience, as well as some of your experience with organizing events.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we will do that here in just a minute.
Okay.
Don't lean forward.
All right.
Bike safe, bike smart. Hi, my name is Alexander.
And my name's Elizabeth.
Over the next few minutes, we're gonna have some fun and talk about some pretty important stuff.
Some of it you've heard before, but it never hurts to hear it again.
And again.
And again. So here we go. Did you know that just falling off your bike is enough to get a serious brain injury? So play it safe. Wear your helmet every time you ride. It can reduce the risk of head injury by up to 85%.
And that's a lot. The helmet should be snug on your head and sit flat. The straps should form a V under your ear, and the chin strap should also be snug. 2 fingers should fit in between your eyebrow and your helmet.
Also, make sure your helmet meets safety standards. Look for a sticker that says CPSC. This stands for the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
All the stuff we talked about today is common sense.
But you still need to think. Be courteous and be predictable by always riding in a straight line.
Wear a helmet. And follow the rules of the road. Ride with traffic on the right side of the road. Ride single file.
Obey traffic lights and traffic signs. Check behind you before turning. Use proper hand signals.
Stop, look left, right, then left again before entering a street, and use caution at an intersection.
Make eye contact with other drivers. Be careful around parked cars, and watch for objects in your path.
And at night, be seen to be safe.
Never assume that motorists or pedestrians will see you. Remember, bikes are smaller than cars, and if there's a crash between the two, any guesses who will win?
That's all the time we have. So remember these 4 words. Bike safe, bike smart.
All right, we're back with Erik Voldengen.
Hi, Wayne.
Hi, Erik. So I want to get into the details of some of the events.
Okay.
Before we go into them, share with the audience a little bit about the lead up into preparing for an event.
Okay, sure. So my events are usually races, but I mean, it could just as well be like Cycle Oregon or the Bridge Pedal or something like that. But my events are usually very physically demanding. Not that I like kill it there or anything, but still I want to show up and be respectable. So yeah, it just takes my approach is just winter training and then ramp up intensity and then stay. I usually try to ride with my team and just use that as a guide. If I can hang with them, then I should probably be okay. So, and then you get in the race and super motivated and
Do you cross train?
adrenaline. I don't cross train too much. No.
Yeah.
I should more. I'm getting more into like, core. I should do more stretching. I say that every winter, but I really should, and everyone should. But
Yeah.
it's important. It could prevent a lot of back problems, posture problems, everything. But I just I'm a slacker when it comes to that.
Okay, so let's talk about, you just came off a cyclocross season. Talk about cyclocross in general. You shared a little bit before the break.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's the atmosphere is a little more festive. It's fun. Like I said before, it's not road riding. It's kind of like a cross between on-road and off-road. So there's usually mud or dirt and usually fall, and it doesn't hurt like it would on the road. You just have a really good time. The courses are fun. The people there are, the atmosphere is just kind of like a party. It's really fun. And some people, that's their whole thing. They're all year round, they're gearing up for cyclocross season.
I have been told, I've never done cyclocross, but
You should.
I know.
God, I've been telling you that for
I
like
know. For a long time. And I listen to you, mostly.
Yeah.
One of the things when people do talk about cyclocross and they try to encourage you to do it, they talk about how the family environment is good because, and even you have said
Totally,
that,
yeah.
because you can bring people that maybe aren't into it.
Yeah, it's road racing is really boring to watch. I mean, if your family shows up to watch you do a road race, God bless them, because that's commitment, because it's so boring. You might, if they're lucky, you'll come by like once every 2 miles, like at PIR or something, but other than that, they'll see you at the beginning, maybe in the middle, and then at the end, and I wouldn't put my family through that. But cyclocross is it's a wide open course, and you can see like various points, and it always comes back upon itself. So you can stand in one place and see a whole lot of the race, and the race spreads out pretty quickly. So there's always something to watch where you're standing. It's a completely different atmosphere, and in terms of like spectating, it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to go. You can yell at people, heckle people, cheer people on. We love it all.
Yeah. How about equipment-wise? It's different. It's
Yeah.
a lot different.
Yeah, it's different. It's like a road bike, but the difference is there's more clearance, so you can have much fatter tires. And also the frames and everything are more robust. They're stronger. They're a little heavier, but they're stronger because they take more of a beating than your road bike is designed to take. So the difference really is more clearance, little different geometry, but who cares? And then just stronger. And then, brakes, different brakes, off-road brakes, primarily disc brakes at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about just participating in the events? Do you set goals for yourself when you're coming into a season?
Yeah, some seasons. I mean, I'm not, I've never been at the top of my class or anything. I do it because I enjoy it. But I come in with a goal. Sometimes the goal is to get a top 10 in the Masters A category, or maybe my goal is to place top 10 in the weekly series or something like that, or maybe a goal is to work my way up to a respectable finish in a certain category. It just depends on how my year's going.
Yeah. Can you talk about when you...
Well, hold on though, because
Okay.
every time, no matter what, no matter how you're doing in a race, if you're ridiculously underprepared or outclassed or whatever, and there's still a goal, a race within the race. There's always something you can take out of it that's positive. It's well, I didn't get last place. Me and this dude were fighting for, fighting the entire race, and I barely squeaked by him in the end. That's cool. Or I had this move where I was able to ride this really tricky section, and I didn't see a whole lot of other people doing it, so that was cool. There's always something to come out of it that's positive. So you can have goals, little goals like that, something that makes it worth your while, because it's fun. If it's not fun, not much point in doing it.
So, that's great. You stole that right off the sheet, by the way. How about stage racing?
Stage racing is, I always think stage racing is going to be this epic, amazing adventure, and it always is, but more than anything, it's just super hard. Yeah, but it's really fun. It's a fun thing. A stage race is a multi-day race, and it's Tour de France. That's the biggest stage race of them all, but it's cumulative. So the person with the lowest cumulative time wins. So you're competing from the first day to the last day, and the fastest guy overall wins. So it's fun. I seldom am able to compete for the overall. So I might have goals within the race. I know I'm not going to do very well in a time trial day, but later on there's a crit, which is a 1 hour super intense tight corner. That's my kind of race. So I'll maybe dog it a little in the time trial and then go out and play hard on the crit. But there's always, every time I've done one, it's been amazing. It's been super hard, but totally worth it. It's a different type of thing.
When's the last stage race that you did?
I did it Baker City stage race this last June or July. I don't remember when it was. Try not to remember.
Was that your first time doing that one?
No, I've done that 3 times now. That was my 3rd time doing it, and it's never been easy. The first time I did it, I got tendonitis in my knee after that, and I couldn't ride for a week. It was hard, but it's a cool race. I really love that race, and after. It's just a cool experience. You race with a team, you race with other people, and you just get a little bit more out of it than you would just a day or an evening race where you show up, you race, you go home. Here you're completely immersed in it for a whole weekend, or actually a little bit more than that. So it's like the basically like the main event of the year in terms of cycling for me.
So are you looking forward to a 2019 stage race like that?
I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I'm thinking about. I definitely would like to do one. There's a couple options. So, yeah, right now I am looking at the race calendar, trying to decide what I want to do. If I want to do that one again, or maybe, mix it up and try something a little different this year.
Is there a point when you pick that? Is there a point during the season where you know that you really have to buckle down and
Yeah.
get focused on your training?
Yeah. Well, right now is when I need to buckle down, and then usually how it goes is I don't buckle down as hard as I need to, and then I'm like, well, I can still do it, but I'm just gonna, have to work really hard, and then after that, it's like, well, I'm gonna have to lower my expectations a little bit.
Talk about that then, because you're not. I've done that, and I don't think anybody's unique in maybe putting off when you need to buckle down.
Right.
So let's say
we're not professionals,
You wait too long.
Yeah.
What would you share with somebody that waited too long, and they still want to do it? Would you do it?
Yeah, I would do it. Yeah, just do it. I mean, do what you can. We're not professionals. We do it for fun. So if it's not fun, I mean, what's the point? So just do it. Do your best. Show up and do your best. Like, I wouldn't, if you haven't ridden more than, 40 miles all summer, and then you show up for a stage race that climbs up like Dooley Mountain or something like that in Baker City, and, like, I rode pretty hard all winter, spring, and summer, and I barely made it up I barely made it up the last stage. So, I mean, you have to show up somewhat prepared, but, you can definitely adjust your expectations of, I'm there to win, I'm there to have a respectable showing, I'm there to have fun.
Talk about that personal experience, though. So that final stage, because you shared that. What was that like when you didn't know if you were going to make it?
No, and that's every time I've done that race. That last day has always been just really hard for me. I mean, I'm over 200 pounds, and the physics, I mean, just climbing that giant mountain is just really difficult. And every time I've done it has been almost a religious experience for me, just because I had to just dig so hard to just make it to the finish. And every time it's been like really dark, and then somehow make it to the end, and very happy about it. So
see that, I mean, I can relate to a lot of this stuff that we're talking about, because the training, I mean, the races are the cherry on top.
Yeah.
But the training is the thing that you get to do with other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can probably tell. I mean, by now I'm not going. My expectation is not to win, but I really enjoy, the speed and and even though I'm not winning, I still enjoy the competition and the intensity of it all. I really enjoy.
Cool.
But I mean, sometimes just finishing is a challenge. It's like, different viewpoint.
Yeah. And then coming off, a big challenge like that, whatever it is, if it's a stage race or it's just a one-day race or a long century ride or less than that. Yeah,
sometimes just a team ride, I barely make it home too. So.
Well, so even what do you do after that, though? Are you right back on the road? Are you recovering or?
Yeah, well, when I get back, I take a nap. So after that, and drink like a gallon of water. That's what I got to do. But after that, no. I mean, the next day I want to ride.
Really?
Yeah. I was just saying this Monday I had a hard time getting out of bed. I was sore, so I was like, I told Arnica, I said, this is you can tell you've had a good weekend if you can't get out of bed on Monday morning without groaning a little bit. But I like it.
has it always been, so this is a question, because some people might not be able to relate to what you're talking about. Has it always been like that, or was there a point during your...
No, when I was in college, before college, I rode bikes a lot, but I wouldn't consider myself an athlete. But when I went to college, I got on the crew team, and that's a varsity sport at Oregon State. And we worked super hard, and that was it really transformed me in my mentality, and kind of gave me like a masochistic love of pain, you know, putting yourself in the red and like saying when you're done, that was awesome, you know. Like I didn't have that before. Like I don't know what the norm is, because it's been like that for me for so long, but I enjoy the intensity and the hurting, and just because it's something to be proud of yourself and makes you feel alive.
So before we go to a second break, so question about which we will go, answer this though, because I don't think it's only masochistic. How does this...
it's definitely not.
How can you match that with having a work life and you have a family? Does it give you... Does it actually add to that for you, like being able to get yourself physically exhausted like that and then go into a job or to spend time with the family?
Yeah, it helps me. I notice if I don't ride, if I get stuck working, or you know, family time is very important in like almost every bike person out there. I mean, family comes first, and family sometimes gets in the way of, like, you know, this epic ride or this race or whatever, but you have to just do what you can do. But yeah, I think that riding really helps me just not be so jumpy and irritable. Like, I get that out of the way, and I'm relaxed, and it's all a balancing act. Yeah. It's really hard to balance everything properly, and I'm not necessarily very good at it, but at least I know. I mean, I can tell you definitely, and you probably know it too, it's just a balancing act. You've got work, you've got family, you've got bikes, there's other things, but that's like the big three for me.
Right on. All right, well, we're going to go to a quick break, and then after that I want to talk a little bit more about balance, and then a little bit about your event coordinating.
Okay.
So we'll do that.
Bike safe, bike smart. Hi, my name is Xander.
And my name's Elizabeth.
Over the next few minutes, we're going to have some fun and talk about some pretty important stuff.
Some of it you've heard before, but it never hurts to hear it again.
And again.
And again. So here we go. Did you know that bikes are considered vehicles?
Meaning you have to follow the same rules as someone driving a car.
And why do we have rules?
To keep us safe and to keep things moving smoothly.
That means when you ride in the street, ride in a straight line with traffic on the right side of the road. Riding against traffic is dangerous. It puts you where the driver of a car isn't expecting you.
Meaning he might turn in front of you, or worse, into you.
And you know what that means.
Ouch.
And if you're riding with friends, always ride single file. And here's something else to remember. Always obey traffic lights and signs, and pay attention to lane markings.
When you see one of these, stop. When you see one of these, yield. Traffic might be coming from one side or the other.
Now, since your bike doesn't come with turn signals,
use your hands.
But always check for traffic before you turn. Do this to turn left, this to turn right. Also, some states allow you to do this to turn right, and do this to stop.
Did you know that 70% of car bicycle crashes happen at driveways or intersections?
So before you enter a street, stop, look left, right, then left again. And use caution at intersections. Be careful. Don't be a statistic.
Hey, now a word about staying alert.
If you're riding your bike, Xander.
Hey.
If you're riding your bike, leave your headphones at home or stick them in a backpack. Because if you put them on your head, you won't be able to hear the traffic around you.
Bike safe, bike smart.
All right, we're back. And so we've talked a lot about just the approach to starting to even get into biking. Talked a lot about the racing. Now let's talk, you've done event coordination. So talk about some of the rides that you've coordinated.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of go on from there.
Sure. I haven't coordinated any group rides or anything, but I have been, responsible or semi co-responsible for organizing some races. And those two races were the Jack Frost Time Trial, which is like the first race of the year up in Vancouver. I don't do them anymore, by the way. I don't. And then the second one was this awesome race, the Obra Hill Climb Championship, and it usually takes place up on Mount Hood from Government Camp up to Timberline Lodge, and it was a sweet race. It takes a lot of time to organize a race. You've got to coordinate with different entities. You've got to get permits, you've got to get insurance for the event through, luckily we have OBRA here in Oregon, and that's the Oregon Bicycle Racing Association, and it's really easy to, they make it a lot easier to put on an event in terms of logistics and equipment, because basically you say you want to put on an event and you give them the plan and you prove that you have permits and things like that, and it's a viable race, and you have a flyer, and you can request equipment. So it's basically a spreadsheet. You can get start lines, finish lines, everything, course markings, anything that you need to put on a race. And then OBRA sanctions the race too. So you get your insurance through them and your officials through them, and they sanction the race. So they're in charge of it, and the race obviously follows OBRA rules and is officiated by OBRA, but that part of it is really really well done. But it's still, as in terms of an organizer and organizing a race organization tends to be kind of a thankless job. I mean, it's like you're putting on an event, and the object is to get people to sign up, right? To sign up, get their entry fees, and do your race. And it's kind of like it's nerve-wracking, because if you don't have a good turnout, you're going to lose money, and nobody does this for money. So what's the point? So you really strive to hit that break-even mark most of the time, maybe a little above, maybe a little below, but hopefully break even. But on top of that, it takes a lot of organization, which is not necessarily my strong suit, but there's no option to not be organized. If you put on a race and you don't have everything really well organized, it's going to be a terrible event. So it's important. Both of these events that I put on were time trials. So the heart and soul of a successful time trial, which is you race the clock, you're not mass start racing. So every interval, like every 30 seconds or every minute, somebody goes off from the start line, right? And it's super important to have a good start list, because that start list is defined before the first racer goes off at the day. Before the first racer starts, the finish line already has a complete list of every single racer in the race and what time they're going to start. So when they cross the finish line, they know what that racer's time on the course was. So organizing that start list is super stressful and frustrating because it has to be absolutely perfect. And you get people like, hey, I have to work in the afternoon, can I start in the morning? And then you have to like go through and adjust people and just hope that you remembered all the requests and got everything perfect. But when you do, it's awesome. It feels really good to be part of a successful event that went well, with people like happy and maybe getting a compliment or two. But it's really fun to put on the event. It feels really good, but it's a lot of work and it's a lot of stress. And we talked about balancing earlier, and I think I could handle riding bikes, racing bikes maybe, but putting on race events on top of that, I can't do. It's just too much for me personally. So I had to just pass the race on to somebody else.
Do those events still run?
Jack Frost does. That's I think it's still taking place this February up in Vancouver. The Oregon Hill Climb, Obra Hill Climb Championship up at Mount Hood. I think the promoter that I passed that on to was basically having the same issues, that I was. It's just too many obligations, and it's really hard to orchestrate everything. And I don't know that they found a promoter for that this year, so I'm not sure if that's happening this year, unfortunately. I really strongly considered trying to take it over again, but just knowing like all the other things I'm trying to do, basically like professionally, my work stuff and my kids, I don't need one more like thing to take me away from all that, so I couldn't do it.
How much time went into like leading up to the actual race?
Yeah, well, like the Mount Hood race it's awesome. I love it, and I'm sad that it might not keep continuing, but I kept doing it because I love the event. But it's definitely a labor of love. So I can't tell you how many hours, but I mean, to give you an idea, you need to go back and forth with Timberline Lodge, the Forest Service, the ODOT, and you get permits from all of them for putting on the race. And then you need to inspect the course, and it's up there on Mount Hood. The snow usually just thaws like within the past month, so there could be a log across the road or something like that. So I don't live right next to Mount Hood, so you got to take a day off work and go up there and check the course out. And there's always, you can imagine the amount of gravel that's on like the road leading up to Timberline Lodge. So that race actually comes, it snakes up along a road called Westlake Road, which is under the ski lift for Summit Ski Area, I think. Is that the one? Yeah.
Summit's up there.
Yeah. So anyway, it's you got to do a lot of sweeping and preparation, and then that whole start list, that dang start list, like the week before the event comes, I mean, you're getting 20, 30 emails a day.
Wow.
So it's just, and you got to keep track of them all, and it's really hard to focus on anything but the race. So
does it affect your training too?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Will you do the Jack Frost this year? Or?
I don't know. I probably will do it. I like to support the people that put on the race, and the group that is doing that race now, that's organizing that race, is Zone 5 Promotions, and they work really hard, and they really want to put on a lot of good races, and they're really stepping up because promotion is getting harder and harder here in Portland, and they're working really hard to keep a lot of races going. So yeah, I'll do it. Time trials aren't my favorite, but this is kind of a nostalgic thing, and I really want to support Zone 5.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite thing?
My favorite thing is cyclocross. for sure.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah.
But even though you classify yourself as more roadie?
Yeah, well, cyclocross is more of a compressed schedule. You know, like I said, I've been racing on and off for like over 20 years, but you know, not necessarily like killing it or anything. But every year, no matter how the summer has gone, some have been gone really well, and some have gone really rocky. But no matter what, there's always cyclocross. So if your summer's going terrible, if you just can't, you know, work is too much or whatever's too much and you don't have time to train or whatever, you can always say, well, at least there's cyclocross. And that's coming in October. So I have, you know, it's like a clean slate, you know, something to look forward to. But last year I really I joined a team, like a good team, and I really wanted to just step up the intensity again, just give it one last go, you know, and you know, it's been awesome. But yeah, I did a lot of road stuff last year, and I'm getting to be more of a roadie, whereas like the previous like 10 years I wasn't so much. It was more like there's always cyclocross, and then that was my thing.
Cool.
Yeah. But you know what else?
Tell me more.
You know what else, Wayne? There's something else. There's something else that seems to be catching on. Road racing is awesome, but like I said, getting permits is getting harder and harder. And the current rage seems to be gravel.
Really?
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of gravel races this season. And when I said I was thinking about doing something a little different, I mean, I love cyclocross and I love riding on gravel. So I'm thinking of hitting as many of those events as I can.
I think I talked to one of the other shows. I talked to somebody, and on the discussion was gravel racing. I don't really. How is that different from cyclocross versus road? Is it like a hybrid in between, or?
Yeah, I guess it is. It's like I don't know if you watch professional racing, like there's the Spring Classics, and that's the best time of racing. Tour de France is cool and everything, but where it's at is Spring Classics, where these guys are like riding on cobblestones, and the 110-pound guys with arms like this big, they don't stand a chance in those races, right? So the big dudes with the big power, they come out and they throw it down, and it's an exciting race to watch. But the conditions are terrible, and the roads are terrible, and that's what drew me into riding gravel. And I know you know what gravel's like because we rode on.
Yeah.
What was that road?
It was from. I'm trying to remember.
From Highway 30 up.
Yeah. And I can't remember the name of the road, but
I should remember it.
It was tough. It's a challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge.
So, yeah.
But it takes that handling that you get from off-road and especially from cyclocross. And if you can apply that, like you learn how to put the power down when you don't have like really good traction or when things aren't smooth, and it's just super fun. I really like it. Well,
we are 2 minutes out before we have to wrap up. Is there any last thing that you want to say?
No, I thank you for having me here. It's been fun chatting with you.
It's been great.
Do you want to go ride?
I do. I love it. Okay. Oh, man, I miss it, actually. Well, thank you so much for coming to Psychology today.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining Northwest Bicycle. I'm looking at the crew behind here. We're going to stretch this out a little bit more.
When do you want to ride? When are we going to do it?
When are we going to ride?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's kind of like, do I need to get in shape before I go to the gym, or do I just go ride? What's the answer?
I think I should ride over to you, and then I'll be tired by the time I get there, and then we'll go for a spin. Okay. And then you'll go home. I'll make sure you make it home safe.
What would you like? So I won't feel bad because I am like less. I'm much further behind on the fitness level for riding.
No,
you don't want to ride with people that feel bad.
Like
about
I said, you just gotta. I don't care. Yeah, just do it. It'll be fun. That's what it's all about. Okay. We have a good time.
I love it.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about riding that I don't get as much in running, because I do that too, is the conversation that we have.
Oh yeah, we always have good ones.
Because there's good breaks in between. We have had them. But you can have that because you can go intense and then you can take a break on the bike and talk.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the best conversations and jokes and funny stories, they come out on the bike. I mean, that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy that a lot. We've had some good ones for sure. Like the FBI story. And stuff like that. I can't tell you about it, but
no, we're not going to talk about it right now. All right. Well, we are going to wrap up. So I'm going to run us out. Thank you for joining us on Northwest Bicycle Safety. Council promotes safe riding both by obeying the laws and by riding at your skill level. You can visit Portland Wheelman Touring Club at pwtc.com to learn about rides for this year. There are many slow and easier rides to help you test the cycling waters and bring your bike and a helmet. By riding with others, you can increase your skill, learn new routes, and learn to ride in groups. Learn about other rides and events and make new friends. Please investigate and set some little goals. We talked to Erik about setting goals. For you, you can set some little goals and let other cyclists help you attain them. When riding with a group or when you find yourself in a group, be sure to use your voice and or arm signals and to indicate you're slowing or stopping. Communication and proper protocol can prevent a crash. Not to mention, everyone around you will appreciate knowing your intentions. So hand signals are the law.
And keep it smooth.
Keep it smooth. And if you have a child in your life learning to ride, they should practice this as well. And you can check out our website at northwestbicyclesafety.org and learn more about us.
Thanks, Wayne.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.